Let's talk Face ID. Face ID is one of the most fragile components on an iPhone. It's one of the easiest things to break and one of the hardest things to repair. Face ID is made up of many components. There's the dot projector, the flood illuminator, the ambient light sensor, the proximity sensor, and the infrared camera. There's also a microphone and a front earpiece speaker. If either of those are damaged, Face ID stops working as well. This whole module is paired to the board, which works with Face ID. This happens more frequently during screen replacements. When the technician is removing this component to transfer it onto the new screen, they end up tearing the ribbon cable or the microphone or ruining the ambient light sensor. It is really fragile and really easy to damage, but damaging it does cause Face ID to stop working, and this unfortunately you cannot replace. If you do replace it, Face ID will definitely not work. That's the most common way Face ID is damaged, by this being damaged. However, Face ID can get damaged from water damage. The screen sits on the housing like this. Under this are very fragile components. If the water manages to bypass these components, it can not only damage them, but it can also damage the infrared camera and the dot projector. Two crucial things for Face ID to function properly. Fixing Face ID is extremely hard and most often requires soldering. You can't simply replace these components because they are paired to the board, so only these specific components would work. The only real easy fix for Face ID is cleaning. Sometimes dirt or water gets on the flood illuminator, the dot projector, or the infrared camera and causes an obstruction of the camera's view. If your phone can't see where you are and how your face looks, it's not going to be able to identify you via your face. If dirt breaches your phone because your back glass is cracked or your front screen is cracked, this is most commonly the culprit. Aside from that, you're probably going to end up with broken Face ID forever. If your phone is new and Face ID isn't working, I recommend you go to Apple. Some repair shops do fix Face ID, but the success rate is really low and the price is high. It's more worth it to just put up with it and use the passcode. I know that's not what you wanted to hear watching this video, but it's the truth. That's not to say that Face ID isn't fixable at all. It definitely is. Nothing is unfixable. It's just really hard to do. You have to be really good at micro soldering and have the right equipment to do it. Given its success rate, a lot of people who can do it just won't. If you are a tech that fixes Face ID, you're probably incredibly talented and you deserve whatever you're getting paid. Anyway guys, that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I taught you something and I'm sorry for your loss. Face ID is annoying when it doesn't work, but it's not the end of the world. You still have a passcode and your phone still works.